They said she would never have a child. They laughed at her. They looked down on her. But the day she picked up a crying baby in the rain, everything changed in a way no one ever expected. In a quiet village, there lived a woman called Ugonne. Ugonne was not slim, but she was beautiful in her own way. Kind, patient, and full of love. She had been married to her husband Ugonne for 8 years. Yet, she had not had a child. In her community, people often whispered about her. But one thing never changed. Ugonne loved her deeply. One evening, Ugonne sat quietly outside, lost in thought. Ugonne walked up to her gently. Ugonne said, "Ugonne, what is on your mind?" Ugonne replied, "I keep thinking, what if I never give you a child?" Ugonne held her hands. Ugonne said, "You are enough for me. Whether we have a child or not, I will always stand by you." Ugonne's eyes filled with tears. But inside the same house lived someone who did not show her kindness. Ugonne's mother, Adaeze, her mother-in-law. She made life very difficult for Ugonne. One hot afternoon, Adaeze said, "Ugonne, why are you resting? Go to the forest and bring firewood." Ugonne tiredly said, "Mother, the sun is very strong." Adaeze replied, "You must learn to be strong. Go now." Ugonne quietly carried the basket and walked into the burning sun. Another day, heavy rain poured. Adaeze said, "Go and fetch firewood." Ugonne, shivering, said, "But it's raining heavily." Adaeze said, "You will be fine. Go." Ugonne stepped into the rain, soaked, cold, and exhausted. But the moment Ugonne returned from his trade trips, everything changed. Adaeze became lovely. So lovely that you wouldn't even know she is very strict with Ugonne. One day she said, "Ugonne, my daughter, come and eat. You must be tired." Ugonne forced a small smile, knowing her very well. Ugonne watched quietly. Something didn't feel right. But one night, Ugonne sat alone, tears rolling down her face. Ugonne whispering, "God, please remember me." That has been her silent prayer. One day, Ugonne returned home earlier than expected. He heard his mother speaking harshly to Ugonne. For many years now, nothing has changed. Ugonne stopped. His heart sank. He walked in slowly. Ugonne, so emotional, said, "Mother, is this how you speak to my wife?" Adaeze seeing him instantly shocked. "My son, I was only trying to guide her." Ugonne saying seriously, "She deserves respect. She is my wife." Ugonne stood quietly, tears in her eyes. That very night, Ugonne said, "Ugonne, start packing." Ugonne, very confused, said, "Are we going somewhere?" Ugonne replied, "Yes, it is time we live in peace." Not long after, Ugonne built a home for them, away from the tension, away from the pain. For the first time in years, Ugonne felt peace. She smiled again. One evening, the rain fell heavily. Ugonne walked near the river. Then she heard a baby crying. She followed the sound carefully, and there near the riverbank was a newborn baby, wrapped in clothes, left alone. Ugonne, being shocked, said, "Oh no, who left you here?" She quickly picked up the baby and held her very close to her. At home, Ugonne said, "Where did you find this child?" Ugonne replied, "By the river, in the rain. We cannot leave her." Ugonne looked at the baby, then at Ugonne. Ugonne said gently, "Then we will care for her." Ugonne smiled through tears. They named her Mirindo because she was found on a rainy day. From that moment, their home became filled with joy. Peace grew stronger, and slowly, good things began to happen around them. One morning, Ugonne felt different, weak but hopeful. Ugonne said, "My husband, I don't feel the same." Later, the whole community received the news that Ugonne was finally pregnant after 8 years. Ugonne's tears of joy knows no bounds. "Is this really happening?" Ugonne said, smiling. "Yes, our time has come." They held each other tightly. Months later, Ugonne gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. The woman who once cried in silence now had 2 children in her arms.